All right, my bows and bow ties. This is the Black Opinionated Woman. We want to talk about the Jedi mind trick that's happening with Black people. All right, so look, I'm the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as a bow, for those of you who have not visited this channel before. Okay, look, let me see if I can adjust this angle here. All right, I never know how to take off my title, so we're just going to deal with it. All right, so this is what we're talking about today. Black people and the Jedi mind. All right, let me go ahead and just bring up the thumbnail for a second. I thought that was kind of funny, actually. I like this thumbnail. So this is what you selected to get into this video. We're going to talk about the Jedi mind trick on our Black people. So I just have a few topics that I want to get into. I'm actually starting halfway on time instead of starting at like 7 o'clock. So let's get on into it. All right, move that off to the side like this. All right, so look, I want to talk about this. Number one, I feel like Black people. Okay, now look, for those of you who are not blackity black, you are welcome to listen to this. This doesn't really concern you per se, but you're welcome to listen. Maybe you'll get some insights into the culture, Black culture. Let me just say this. I want to talk about love for a second. I feel like there has been a Jedi mind trick put on our youth and our older people too, on, hey, hold on a second. No. So sorry, I had to remind my child of something that I don't want them doing. So this is the thing. I feel like there is this unspoken rule that you can't show vulnerability, that you can't love, that it's going to make you weak if you're a woman, if you're a man. The new word is you're a simp. There is a Jedi mind trick put on people that we can't just love each other. Okay. And I don't, so one of the things I do when I'm trying to look at stuff on YouTube, I try to remove certain things from my feed. I'm like, don't suggest this. Don't suggest this channel. I'm not interested in this video, right? I constantly have to clean up. Now, part of it is my fault, right? Because I do still subscribe to a few people. So when you're attached to a few people who may report on other things that I'm not necessarily always interested in, but I do find them to be funny at times, it's going to bring in that element. And what I am seeing is, like I said in other videos, that there are many of us blackity blacks out here, but we're not talking about good stuff, right? I don't mind when Black women are talking about beauty or hair or something like that, but it seems like that's all Black women want to talk about unless they're like man hating. Okay. But then you look at the men, well, it's all jacked up. It's just all jacked up. You have very few professionals out here talking about something meaningful. Instead, we take pleasure in it's like we're trying so hard to be seen as viable and strong and all these other things, and no one's willing to be vulnerable. No one's willing to say, you know what, it hurts me when you say this, or I love you. I love you. And I miss you when you're gone, or whatever. And I'm just talking about in our lives. We don't normalize any of that. There has been a Jedi mind trick, a Jedi mind trick put on the blackity black folks. Look at now how we our music is so trashy that no one sings about love anymore. Nope. We sing about how we're going to get that. We're going to be this and WAP and all that. We don't sing about love. It's all about, can I get what I can get? Because there's been a Jedi mind trick put on Black people. We're just a mess. We're like a hot mess. I'm just kind of like, a lot of times, like when I'm listening to people when they're chatting and they try to engage me in like shenanigan type conversations, shut that down immediately. I'm like, I'm not getting involved in this. Like, because this is so ridiculous. The fact that you even want to engage me on these silly kinds of conversations, I'm just not about that life. So anyway, the Jedi mind trick. Now, let me okay, I have like a few points here. I'm gonna jump to our talent for a second. There has been a Jedi mind trick put on our people that we can't just have talent, that we have to, everything has to be salacious and sexual. The women are out here going crazy. And yes, I'm getting ready to trigger some people. This includes Beyonce. Every time I turn around, this woman is my age. I'm 45. They claim she's 40, 41. We know she's a little bit older. But she's out here not wearing any clothes in a tutu and a leotard. She's an amazing looking woman. But I'm just kind of like, at what point do you grow up? The music is silly. If you listen to a lot of the lyrics, I think she's trying to evolve. But I'm just kind of like, all of our talent out there, they're taking their cues from who's in front of us. You're gonna have to take some cough medicine. They're taking their cues for who's in front of us. They don't have much of. Let me put it to you like this: I remember when I was growing up, when we listened to music, we listened to Anita Baker, uh, Whitney Houston. That's not to say that these aren't flawed people. Like Whitney Houston, um, Patti LaBelle. I remember Sade and who sang No Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Remember that? I think it was like Jody Watley, or I don't remember. And like the men, they wooed you, right? Nowadays, no, there's no real R&B. There's none of that. The Jedi mind trick has been put on our people. So now that we're out here in award shows and in real life, and people are getting shot up in the foot, and I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming like Meg Thee Stallion for being shot up, but like it's like we're trying so hard to be part of a culture that I'm like, remember, we created pop culture, and this is mind trick that's been put on us, that when we sing and when we are comedians, whatever, look at it in every aspect. We got people getting slapped on stage. We got people showing tampons on stage at, was it the VMAs or whatever? We've got people not wearing any clothes. And you can get people up there like a Billie Eilish and then Taylor Swift get up there, ding, 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 and they just have, all they have to do is sing. And I'm not saying that they don't have a talent, but all like Taylor Swift has to do is get up on stage and ding, 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 ding. This movie hurt my feelings. Pay attention to me. Hold on one moment. I got a parent. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my son is getting ready to walk out. So yeah, but our talent has to be extra. That Chloe Bailey, that beautiful Chloe Bailey, she has just gone off the rails. Hollywood has already claimed her. I'm like, the Jedi mind trick has been put on our people so bad. We are so desperate for attention, to be seen, to be loved. We're desperate, so we'll do anything, and we're acting like little uh, puppets from a marionette. Somebody's just pulling the strings, and we're just moving, we're just doing it. I want to move on. Oh, I was just going to say that it's becoming the modern day form of menstrual. The only thing is that we're doing it to ourselves, right? We are a hot mess, trash. So just sneeze, honey. If you have to sneeze, sneeze. I'll get you some medicine. All right. I'm going to talk about the Jedi mind trick that's been put on Black women in particular. We've got Black women out here getting BBLs. Um, they're feeling bad about themselves and thinking that they're ugly now. They're getting on people's couches to deal with the trauma that's being inflicted on them from the community. I'm like, the shenanigans, and that's not to say that therapy isn't good, because it has a place and it is good. And if you need it, you got it. But we've got whole movements now where women are dealing with their trauma, and they should deal with their trauma. But now, I mean, like, women are all like, they're getting counseling based on a lot of things that's been done by the community. And I'm not going to put it all on the men. The men play a big part of it, but it's also due to, I would say, our elders, maybe elders. But we've got this Jedi mind trick that's been put on our people. Our women are struggling. Men definitely are struggling, but they haven't gotten with acceptance yet. I think when the men finally just accept that they're broken and that they're hurting, then they'll start to make some changes, but they're not there yet. The women, on the other hand, are just like, we're just not worthy. And now they're trying to get it together. That's why you got all these movements, women in luxury and all sort of stuff like that. Go on, girl, whatever. But the Jedi mind trick that's been put on the community, I'm like, this is all, it's fascinating. It really should be a case study if it hasn't in graduate classes, undergraduate classes. The lack of self-worth and self-love in this community, the things that we're doing to get attention, it's like minstrel. It's it's unlike, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. You've got people divesting, and I don't have a problem with people divesting. I just feel like you don't divest for the sake of saying like, oh, because everything is better. You divest if you're going to look and make sure you're opening up your options per se. And there's nuance there, right? There is nuance, but I understand why it's happening. I get it. Now I'm going to say something that's going to sound strange. Now, although I'm married to a whole black man, I have whole black children. When I was in undergraduate school, most of my male relationships were white. Now, granted, I went to a white engineering school, but my black male relationships were so, I will say this because I don't want to put my business out there, but they were my experiences. I'm trying to figure out what can I say without being too, my experience. Let me just, okay, I'll do it this way. My white male relationships, and I'm not saying white men are better, I'm talking about my set of experiences. They were much more respectful, and I felt a lot more protected. It was a lot less physical. And that's not to say that they aren't physical. Now, I want you to catch the nuance because I've seen some things, I've seen some abuse and things that happen in college. But what I am saying is collectively, even the way they spoke to me was much more respectful and humane. And when I graduated college and I spent some time in the military, for those of you who don't know, I spent 5 years as an Air Force officer. My relationship with white men was still so much more respectful. I felt protected, um, treasured, not fetishized. I can never say fetish, correct, fetishized, whatever the word is. I felt like I had real friendships, like people cared. We talked about stuff. My relationships early on in my youth with black men were horrible. And I didn't want to deal with it. I cut them off in the beginning. I'm like, you need to get yourself together. You're rude. You're disrespectful. You're disgusting. Misogynist. I didn't even know that was the word at the time. So I get why black women are going through what they're going through right now. I've been down that road. And it was only as I've gotten older and I was able to meet men who actually had some sense and who actually matured and they were willing to do some work on themselves, whatever that means, right? They realized, like, yeah, I can't just be like this. Now, men are going to be men. But what I'm saying is my collection of experiences were treacherous. Okay. And I'm just going to leave it there. So with that being said, I want everyone to hear me here when I talk about the Jedi mind trick. It doesn't mean that I was like all black men are like this, but a whole lot of them were. Okay. I still just I had to figure out how to find a better selection of men. There weren't many. There weren't many. I'm going to be honest because so many of them were so hurt and so traumatized. Right. And so, yeah, that's not to say that, you know, I'll put it to you like this. I didn't bundle all black men and say I could never date a black man ever again, or anything like that. I just had to separate from the shenanigans. So I understand why that's happening with black women, this whole divesting thing. Now, some of them were doing it because they think white men are better or Asian or whatever. I don't think any man is better. I think men are going to be men. But what I will say is Do what you need to do as far as opening your options. Okay? Some of my best times were spent with people who didn't look like me early on. Now, getting back to hold on a second. Let me just hold on. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You go ahead and like it because you know you like me. I'm amazing in every way. Okay? Thank you. Now, let me get back to my points. Getting back to like the love and vulnerability and all of this stuff like that, I get what's happening. I get it. And I think with the community and the Jedi mind trick that's been put on a community, like you're not worthy, you can't experience love, you better not show vulnerability and compassion and extend grace to people when they do things. Yeah, this community is all the way jacked up. Now, there are going to be people who are going to say, well, in the so and so community, I'm like, I'm not talking about that community. I'm talking about this community. I'm talking about the one that I'm part of. Okay. So I don't want to hear anything about all this other stuff. I'm talking about in this community, we are some jacked up people. The Jedi mind trick. Like I said, you got women out here getting like just, I don't know what to say. They're out there getting BBLs and they think that they have to do all these things. Like you got women who feel like they gotta wear hair all the way down to their butt and they gotta color it like blue, which might be kind of fun. Maybe I'll get some blue hair. But like they just want to be seen. They're trying to change their features to look like something that they're not, when actually everyone's trying to get their features. Let me move on past this. I'm going to talk about these YouTubers out here in these streets. Now, let me say this. These YouTubers out here in these streets, and I'm talking about the black ones, they have people, I think, thinking like, you know, like they're just, they're balling out there. And some of them may be. I know how much work goes into creating a YouTube channel. And look, let me just say this for the record. I'm actually not as good as some of these other personalities out here. Number one, I don't have the same cycles as them because I do work a full-time job. Number two, I'm also very present and active with my kids in the evening, especially during all their sports seasons, right? So I don't know. I have to make a decision, raise my children. Oh, you sound crazy. Um, Raise my children or be on YouTube. So, I make the decisions that are best for me and my family. But these YouTubers are out here pulling this Jedi mind trick as if like, yeah, like I don't know that half of them either don't have a relationship that can hold any water. They're either not raising their children, okay, or they don't have any kids, or they don't have a real job or something, because they're out here pulling this Jedi mind trick on you thinking like this is just something that they just popped on here real quick. No, let me tell you, some of these people, this is their full-time job, and I'm not knocking it. It's a great thing if you can make it your full-time job. But this is not easy, at least not for me. All right. So I'm just calling a thing a thing. But I will say this. YouTube, this app, will also have Black people thinking that the only thing Black people want to hear is Black men bashing Black women bashing Black men, um, beauty and hair. I just listened to another content creator the other day talking about, she was breaking down what's happening with the Roe v. Wade. She was a Black woman. What was her name? I want to give her a shout out because I think she was like the Empire Esquire or something like that. Let me see. Can I find her? Did I have her still up? I mean, oh, where is she? I want to say she was the Empire Esquire. Oh gosh, what is her name? What, I'm gonna tell you her name. And she was so good. Empowered Esquire. Is that what it is? Why can't I view the full channel? Empowered Esquire TV. Okay, that's the kind of content stuff that we need to see more of when we get our educated minds out here, and they're breaking down these kinds of things. More financial people, more health people, right? Instead, we have a whole bunch of people out here just tearing each other down, becoming the great grifters, swindling people. That's like the definition of a grifter, right? Swindling people out of their money in these stupid courses and stuff. This is what we're doing. We have this Jedi mind trick put on our people where we feel like the only way we can be successful is if we swindle from each other. That's what we're doing. This was one of the most well thought out Jedi mind tricks I've ever seen. Our minds are so petty right now. We are literally wasting our good talent. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with it. I just feel like there's been a Jedi mind trick, I think, just placed on the entire community. There's a few of us who are like, I'm not dealing with this. You know what I mean? So look, let me just say this, and then I'm gonna get off of this because my daughter is coughing a lot, and I don't like for her to not be well. Um, I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing out here is we've got to do better. I don't typically like to align with certain things if it doesn't make sense. And I know that because of the niche or lack thereof that I am in, it's not a highly popular niche where people want to listen to the kind of things that I'm saying. And I have accepted that because I do want to put an alternative to some of the content out there. I don't want our content to be so stovepipe. Like when you see a Black person, okay, this is what they're going to be doing, right? We are so much more dynamic than that. Um, if you're wondering why I don't talk about a whole lot of engineering stuff, it's because I'm going through a midlife crisis and I don't want to talk about it. I think I'm losing interest in engineering. I think I want to try something else. I've been doing it for 20 something years and now I'm like on to doing something else. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It might still be technical. I'm thinking of switching into something else. But nevertheless, we've got medical personnel who won't share their knowledge, which is unfortunate because they have so much. I know people who are in the industry who are like, I'm not getting on social media. I'm like, you could be sharing so much on like, hey, this is one thing you can do to make yourself healthy today. Have you considered eating an apple? Now, I mean, that was tongue in cheek, but you understand the point I'm making. Have you considered doing these things? Let me tell you why this is so good for you. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. We need to put alternative content out there. I know I've said this multiple times, but instead, the Jedi mind trick has been placed on us. We are now, like, you got women out there who are literally like signed up on some of these dumb channels and being told how bad and it's like Stockholm syndrome. Like they're being held captive by it and they're consuming this information. They're consuming the information. You've got men out there, some of them I know, they're speaking some of these talking points. Some angry men who really haven't gotten honest about their disdain and hatred for Black women. The Jedi mind trick. All right. So the rest of my kids are coming down, so I'm sure they're going to be making noise. Good morning. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna let me get off because I don't like for my children to be on camera here. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Go ahead and subscribe. Give me the thumbs up. I can definitely use a thumbs up, okay? And so let me get out of here. This is the Black Opinionated Woman.